How's it going, guys? And welcome back to the most important tutorial that I will ever make. This tutorial is all about finishing and scoring goals. It is no use you think you can get your player in the box in front of a goal and think you can just press the shoot button and you assume it will be a goal. This is not the case in FIFA 16. In FIFA 16, the goalkeepers are of a very high standard and it's difficult to get a shot past them. In FIFA 16, you need to make use of various shooting techniques with the right amount of power, with the right person at the right spot to ensure or to at least increase your chances of getting that goal. In this video, we will be discussing the following points: player stats, the near post finish, the near post curve shot, the far post finesse shot, the normal far post, the long shot, the long finesse shot, the ground shot, the normal shot, the normal finesse shot, and your Rabona or the Flair shot. Now we come to the first point, player stats. It is very important that you are familiar with each and every player in your team and you know their stats. There is a few vital stats that is a must to know before you try and score with that player. Also, that will determine which method you must use to score the goal. The first thing when you open your squad list, what you are looking for in a player, is he left-footed or is he right-footed? Also, you have to find out his weak foot rating. Is it 3 stars, 4 stars or 5 stars? Next, you have to go to the player's specialities and traits. You have to find out if the player has any good features like finesse striker or long shot taker or power header or flair, stuff like that. And the last thing that you can go and look for is his skills and attributes. Example, if you are looking for a long shot taker, you can scroll down and go and look at his long shot stats as well as his shot power stats. Knowing these stats of your players and applying a player in the right role where his stats and traits is complementing his current position and his current shot can increase your chances of scoring a goal. Now we come to the different methods of scoring goals. There's a few general tips you have to keep in mind before you choose which one of these methods you're going to use to strike the ball. Firstly, always when possible, try to shoot to the post that the player's strong foot is on. If the player's strong foot is a right foot, aim to the right hand side post. If the player's strong foot is a left foot, aim to the left post. Keep an eye on the goalkeeper also and the angle at what he's standing in the net. See which side has more space open. If the player's ability allows it, try to shoot towards that open space. And then the final point. When a player has a good weak foot rating, either 4 stars or 5 stars, you can decide to which post you want to shoot. Left side or the right side. It's up to you. Now we come to the first method. The OP near post shot. One of my favorite strikes. A few things you have to take note of. The near post is always the post closest to your player taking the shot. Left side of the field, a near post will be on the left hand side, and preferably you want a player that is left footed. Right side of the field, the near post is a right hand side post, and then you are looking for a player who is right footed. Here's a few examples that I found that it's the best time to use a OP near post finish. Firstly, when there is not enough angle to aim at the far post, or there is no way to cut inside to get a better angle. Another time when I will use this method is when a player's strong foot is on a near post side. Like in the example on screen, if it's on a left hand side of the field, need a left footed player, or when on a right side of the field, a right footed player. Now how do you execute a near post strike? First of all, with any method that you use, you have to let go of the sprint button. Next, you have to aim with your left analog stick in the direction of the near post. If you look on the screen, I'm showing you the different directions when you are at the different sides of the field, how you have to aim at the near post. Finally, you have to power up your shot at least 2 bars of power, and then you will see the ball go perfectly past the keeper into the net. Now we come to the next method, the near post finesse shot. Occasions when I will use this method is when my player is running straight towards the near post and not at the angle. Whenever my player's strong foot is at the near post side, like in the example on screen, if it's a left side of the field, a left-footed player, on a right side of the field, a right-footed player. Now, how do you execute this near post finesse shot? First of all, like any other shot, you let go of the sprint button. On PS4, you press and hold the R1 button. On Xbox, you press and hold the RB button. Next, you have to aim with your left analog stick in the direction of the near post. If you look on screen now, I'll show you the different directions that you have to aim. If it's on the left hand side of the field, or if it's on the right hand side of the field. Lastly, you have to power up your shot with at least 2 bars of power, and then you will see your shot curve perfectly around the goalkeeper into the near post. Next, we come to the far post method. Few things you have to keep in mind. The far post is the post always furthest away from the player taking the shot. Like example on the screen, if it's on the left side of the field, the far post will be the post on the right hand side. If it's on the right hand side of the field, the far post will be the post on the left hand side of your player. The occasions when I will use this far post method is when my player can cut inside, or if there's already a big enough angle to aim towards the far post side of the net. Also, when I use this method is when my player's strong foot is on the side of the far post. Like example on the screen, if it's a left side of the field, my player's strong foot needs to be right. If it's on the right side of the field, my player's strong foot needs to be left. Now, how do you execute this far post shot? First of all, again, you need to let go of the sprint button. Then you have to aim with your left analog stick towards the far post. You'll see the angle that I'm aiming or directing my left analog stick is a kind of strange angle, but I find it to work better for me using it like this. If it's on the left hand side of the field, or if it's on the right hand side of the field. And finally, you need to power up your shot again with at least 2.25 bars of power. And then you will see the ball drift perfectly past the goalkeeper into the net. The next method, the far post finesse shot. Occasions when to use this method is when you can cut inside and there's a big enough angle towards the far post. Also, when the player's strong foot is on the side of the far post. Like example on screen, if it's on the left side of the field, a right-footed player. When it's on the right side of the field, a left-footed player. Now, how do you execute this far post finesse shot? First of all, again, you have to let go of the sprint button. On PS4, you press and hold the R1 button, and on Xbox, the RB button. Next, you have to aim with your left analog stick in the direction of the far post. If you look in the example on screen, you will see how I am aiming. If it's on the left hand side of the field, or if it's on the right hand side of the field. You see I'm aiming at a strange angle, but I find it works better when I'm aiming in this direction. And then finally, you need to power up your shot at least 2 bars, 2.25 bars of power. And then you will see the shot curve perfectly around the goalkeeper into the back of the net. Now we come to the normal shot. Whenever your player is in the center of the box or the center of the field and there is no clear near post or far post, always try to shoot in the direction towards the post that the player's strong foot is on. If it's a right-footed player, then you aim towards the right post. If it's a left-footed player, then you have to aim to the left post. And also when you power up your shot, you need to power up with at least 2 bars of power. The next method is the normal finesse shot. Whenever you are in the center of the field or your player is in the center of the box and there's no clear far post or near post, and you want to curve the ball around the goalkeeper instead of just using a normal shot, then you will use the normal finesse shot. Always aim the finesse shot towards the post on a player's strong foot. Like the example on the screen, if a player is left-footed, you have to aim towards the left post. If the player is right-footed, then you must aim towards the right post. Now, how do you execute this normal finesse shot? First of all, you have to let go of the sprint button. On PS4 you press and hold the R1 button, and on Xbox the RB button. With your left analog stick, you have to aim a finesse shot always towards the far post. If it's not clearly visible which one is the far post, if you are in the center of the field, then you have to aim the finesse shot towards the player's strong foot. Like the example on screen, if the player's strong foot is on the right, you have to aim towards the right post. If the player's strong foot is on the left, you have to aim towards the left post. Finally, you have to power up your shot with at least 2 bars of power, and then you will see the ball curve past the goalkeeper into the back of the net. Now we come to my personal favorite method of scoring goals, the long shot. When will I use this long shot? Firstly, it helps a lot if the player shooting has the long shot trade. Next, whenever your player is outside of the box and there's a lot of clear space around him. I like using this method a lot from corner kicks. A lot of times I can pass the ball straight to the player outside of the box and there's a lot of free space around him, and he can take his own time and plant the perfect long shot in the back of the net. Now, how do you execute this long shot? First of all, you have to let go of the sprint button just before you're going to hit the strike button, so the ball still has momentum. Next, you have to aim your left analog stick towards the far post, like an example on the screen. If you're on the left hand side of the field, you have to aim towards the right hand side post. If you're on the right hand side of the field, you have to aim towards the left post. And the perfect way to power up this shot is exactly 3 bars of power, and then you will see the ball drift perfectly in the top corner of the net and the goalkeeper won't be able to touch it. The next method is the long finesse shot. Occasions when I will use this method, if I have a player with the long shot shooting trade, as well as a player with the finesse shot trade. Whenever you are outside of the box and there's a lot of clear space around you. When the far post is in the direction of the strong foot, like example on screen. If it's the left side of the field, the player's strong foot needs to be right. If it's on the right hand side of the field, the player's strong foot needs to be left. Now, how do you execute this long distance finesse shot? First of all, you have to let go of the sprint button just before you're going to strike the ball to ensure the ball still has momentum. Next, on PS4 you're going to hold the R1 button, on Xbox the RB button. Next, you're going to aim your left analog stick towards the far post. Like example on the screen, if it's the left side of the field, you are aiming towards the right post. If it's the right side of the field, you are aiming towards the left post. And then the final thing you have to do is power up your shot with exactly 3 bars of power. And then you will see the ball curve past the goalkeeper into the back of the net. The next method is the ground shot. Occasions when you will use this shot is when a goalkeeper is rushing off his line, but there's not enough time or space to chip the goalie. Whenever you are inside the penalty box, close to the goal. And also, it works better when you are running at the angle towards the goal. Now, how do you execute this deadly ground shot? First of all, again, you have to let go of the sprint button. Next, with your left analog stick, you aim towards the goal. This next step, I'm not sure if it really works, but I have found if I hold R1 while executing this ground shot, the ball seems to get past the goalie more often than not. So whenever I execute a ground shot, I hold in the R1 button. And then finally, you have to tap the O button on the PS4 or the B button on the Xbox at least 3 to 4 times to execute this low ground shot towards the goal. Now we come to the final method, the Flair shot. Occasions when you will use this method is when you have a player with the Flair trait. Another time when I will use this method is when I want to impress my friends or rub some salt in their wounds. Now, how do you execute this Flair shot? You have to hold the L2 button while you are executing a shot at different positions and different angles, and the ball coming from different directions. You will see the player execute different Flair shots depending on the situation. Either it will be a Rabona shot, it might be a flying header, or even a bicycle kick can be executed using this method. So this is the end of my finishing tutorial. Above is all the methods that I use to score my goals. If you also use the right method at the right position with the right player, I am sure your finishing rate for goals will increase a lot. And I hope you enjoyed this tutorial and will have a lot more success in finishing your goals. If you enjoyed this content, remember, press the like button and smash that share button. My top 3 finishing techniques must be the far post finesse shot, the OP near post finish, and last, the brilliant long shot finish. Leave a comment down below what is your favorite technique of scoring goals, and I leave you now in the background of some of my favorite finishing moments. This is Mr. Beefy signing off.
Mr. Beefy!